Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ties That Bind DFW podcast. I'm your host, Amber Monroe, speaker, comedian, and women's ADHD and neurodivergence confidence catalyst. My goal is to foster unity within the community by sharing stories that inspire hope, passion, and resilience. I also like to spotlight local businesses as well. In a world that's so focused on the divisiveness of social media, and not everything you see in the digital world is even authentic sometimes, I'm here to bring the real. The views and opinions of my guests don't necessarily represent those of myself or the Ties That Bind DFW podcast. I am so excited to introduce to you a friend of mine, Angel Theodore, the self care catalyst. She is a speaker and also recent author. She's going to be on my panel at the Becoming Her Confidence Redefined Summit that's coming up really soon, January 10th. I'm so excited to have her for our Q&A session. She is going to bring her knowledge and experience and expertise about dyslexia. So, you guys will definitely want to tune in today. But first, a word from our sponsors. Let's go. Today's episode of the Ties That Bind DFW podcast has been brought to you by Reflections Adult Coloring Book with Affirmations. 50 whimsical and wonderful hand-drawn pages of beautiful and diverse women. 50 inspiring daily affirmations focusing on celebrating differences, self-love, beautiful ethnic hairstyles, and body positivity. This book was hand-drawn by me and submitted to Amazon. Remember, the things that make you different are also the things that make you beautiful. To purchase this book, visit the link in my bio or via the links in this podcast. Thank you so much for listening and watching today. Have a blessed day.
Tried to bury her voice, dim her flame, told her she'd fall.
Welcome, Angel. I am so excited to have you here today. Please take a moment to introduce yourself and tell my listeners a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Angel Theodore. I'm a self-care catalyst, and I help high-achieving women recover from burnout because, ladies, we are being pulled in so many different directions. We're moms, wives, business owners, C-suite executives, and all those things. And we usually end up last on our list to take care of ourselves. And I found after talking to hundreds of women that we need this space. And a lot of times when women think of self-care, they think of like, oh, let me get my hair or my nails done. Or they go to the other end where it's like, I got to do hour workouts, wake up at 4 in the morning, 30-minute journal sessions and cold plunges. But I found the secret sauce actually through my own burnout about how to make that sustainable and incorporate it into your life so you can really take care of yourself. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm so happy to be here today with Amber and all of you out there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Angel. And I'm excited to have you on the panel for Becoming Her, the summit coming up in January. And I'm just so excited to hear your insights and kind of dive deep into, more about kind of who you are and growing up and, with dyslexia and your diagnosis and all those things. I can't wait to get into those things as well. So, you're obviously, an accomplished woman. And, as you said, you're helping others prevent burnout and or recover from it. Kind of at what point in your life did you decide that you wanted to kind of share your story with others, because you are a speaker and to develop, your self-care catalyst business? What was kind of the turning point for you and what did that look like?
Yeah. Well, I think for me, I feel like it's one of the only things I'm good at. As a woman, if you're neurodivergent, your brain is wired differently, right? And so
Yes.
I did well in school. I wasn't diagnosed with dyslexia until I was 26. And I kind of found that my gifting is in like emotional intelligence. And I'm a dyslexic author, which is really funny. So God can use anyone, but I need that right environment. So I realized, it might not just be me going through these things. I mean, Amber with her ADHD diagnosis and everyone coming to this event, our brains work differently. And sometimes it can feel super isolating. And I remember what that was like growing up, getting my test scores back. And it's like, oh, I tried so hard. I studied really, really hard and I still got a D. Like, I was up,
Mm,
I was tutoring and I still didn't pass. So I
mm,
know it's not just me. And so I want to share that story because when we realize that we're not alone, it gets a layer of, it like breaks a layer of shame away. And then it's like, oh, okay, I feel better because it's not just me. And women are navigating this every day.
mm. That's so true. You mentioned your diagnosis coming, in adulthood. And you mentioned kind of, testing and different things like that. What was an experience for you, or what was life kind of like for you growing up and without the diagnosis? What were some things or a thing that might have happened that made life a little bit more difficult for you, but might have been better if you had that diagnosis?
Man, oh man. It felt very
Mhm.
isolating,
Mm,
the fact me growing up in a neighborhood where I was the only girl looking like me, but now I'm the one who's not doing good on tests. Now I did get like uh help with my reading comprehension, but that happened before school, so I couldn't hang out with anyone. So it's like, oh,
mm,
there's something wrong with how I learn. I have to spend this extra time learning to read, but I can't make connections. I can't, get to know my friends and I think I was like in the second grade or something like that. And so
mm.
very isolating. And can't remember the rest of your question.
Oh, well, no, that's basically it. Yeah, I was just kind of wondering, what that was like for you growing up. Excuse me, because so many, women and young ladies, we have this childhood where, like you said, you grew up and you just feel kind of different, and and you don't really know why, but you're just kind of like, man, this is kind of a pain, having to do X, Y, Z, and all of these different extra things, and like you said, not being able to have that time with your friends. It's
Yeah.
always interesting. What's that?
No, I just said, yeah, you know, this is making me very emotional.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much I feel like that women need to heal from. And
Yeah.
that's kind of one of the things I'm going to be talking about at the summit. You know, those things that happened in our childhood, those instances that kind of shaped us, and some for the better, some for the worse. And I'm really going to be going into that because yeah, it's there's a lot of inner work that needs to happen. I think there's pluses, about our diagnosis, and then there's negatives, and like I said, we're going to talk more about that at the summit, which I'm so excited to get into. But yeah, it needs to be addressed. I feel like there's so much internal memories that we have that kind of bubble up when we talk about these things. And it's funny. Y'all obviously don't know this yet, but or some of y'all might know, but I met Angel at the another summit we went to,
But yeah.
Attract Abundance Conference, and we had a blast. First of all, let me just tell you that was a also a life changing event. And we were talking. We were going to. We had so much fun. We were going to get coffee and donuts from the hotel, and we were walking to and from, and she mentioned, oh yeah, I wrote a book, and she mentioned that she did a chapter in dyslexia about her dyslexia, and I was like, what? Full stop. I want to know more about that. And so she told me a little bit about her book. But Angel, I would love for you to take a moment to tell my listeners about your book and kind of what that process was like for you.
Yeah. So I was a guest author in a book called She is Awakened. And it says,
Mm,
in your God given calling, unleash your spiritual gifts and step boldly into a mission driven faith that transforms lives and starting with yours. And so my chapter was on equipped terrain. And I talk about my dyslexia. I talk about growing up in a neighborhood where I was the only girl who looked like me and how I felt different. And then
mm,
God used me to tell my story. And one of the things here, which is so interesting, right before I went to the summit in London, because we all joined together to launch the book, launch these summits and things like that. I I had a daytime job, can you believe it, as life as a dual entrepreneur, right? And
yes.
on a performance improvement plan. I think this is what makes me so emotional. And
Oh.
is I did our marketing and communications, and this was my first time with that title. I've always like I studied journalism in college. God has a sense of humor, right? And so I was very excited to step into this role, but the way things were set up, it was kind of hard for me to make things accurate and all that, right? So right before I went to the summit, fast forwarding, I was just let go, but it's okay because now I get to focus on my self-care catalyst full time. It's okay because
Mm.
God has a plan. It's okay because I still am able to speak and tell the story, to tell other
Yes.
women that, hey, you can step in your gifts. You are equipped to reign. And it may not look like what other people think it should look like for you. So the fact that I'm a dyslexic author, like, what the heck, right? And what about this book? So it's in color, the limited edition ones, by the way, which I'll be bringing 10 copies to the summit. But
Ooh,
talking
yay.
at the summit, and I can't really see here. But funny story, she happens to be dyslexic, and she happened to be on a performance improvement plan. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love this book because we put images in it. The font is like in a little, it's like a soft blue, or no, it's black, but it's spaced out, and then the images and things like that make it easy for dyslexic people to actually read the book." She's like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be so easy to read. I'm so excited." So, ladies, I'm bringing 10 special, like, it's, sorry, I'm bringing 10 limited edition copies to the summit in color that you can only get if you go to one of these summits around the world. So I'm really excited. And if you feel isolated or you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't measure up, God can still use you. Like he used me to
Mm.
write the book. So yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That is so true. God can and will use you. Um, and that's amazing, connecting with people who, have the same diagnosis or in a similar position as you. God will be putting people in your path to help, further his goal, that he uses, us to do. And I love that. I love that, despite the things that have happened, recently, you're seeing what God is showing you, the positive of it. Now you've got more time to go out and share your message with others. And, I love that for you. Sometimes life just be life, and as I like to say.
Yeah.
But I know, you're coming out on top.
Yes.
And I love that for you. I really do. Well, do you have any other thoughts, anything else you want to share with my listeners before I have you do all your plugs?
Oh, I would just say, like, make sure you come with an open mind and an open heart into this summit, this event. Make sure that you come out expectant because you're going to be around so many people that are just like you. And just be open to whatever emotions come up. Like Amber said, like there's a lot of healing that needs to take place. And I'm just kind of realizing this as I'm doing this interview right now. And just processing being let go. This was the first time I was ever let go from a job. And
Mm,
feel like, whoa, like I'm okay. Like, whoa, this, like my self-care catalyst is what I've been wanting to do forever. Like essentially it's
mm.
been shaped in different ways and whatnot, but like this is my calling. So I'm excited to step into it. Ladies and gents, I don't know. There might be some gents that come in the room. Like step into your gifts and just know that it's going to work out. Like I'm so excited.
Wonderful. I'm excited too. We got a power lineup for this panel.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Gonna bless a lot of people and hope it blesses y'all as well. All right, well, Angel, why don't you tell everyone, where they can find you online, any events coming up, and obviously I'm gonna talk a little bit more about becoming her at the end, but everybody, been talking about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
So you can find all of my social media on myselfcarecatalyst.com and just a lot of resources to kind of help you on your journey. And the thing I'm so excited about is the next cohort of my elite circle. So what that is a 3-month experience with other like-minded women who want to recover from burnout or feel like they're on the verge of burnout. And one thing I found, ladies, is you burn out when you're not aligned in your gifts, when you're not using your strengths. And especially for someone who's neurodivergent, sometimes life can feel weighty because, again, this world was not really made for us. It's really stuck. Like, this is something I didn't share earlier, but I came up in the 90s, and this was like the No Child Left Behind era.
Mm.
And they only use 2 out of the 9 learning styles that we have. So this world's
Oh,
not
wow.
us, and that can cause us to burn out because we're trying to work and walk in a society without cater to our. So the elite circle could be perfect for that. You can, shed all the things that are burning you out. I'm going to give you practical tips on how to incorporate this into your life. You also can get, depending on when you sign up, 2 months of a spa treatment, like a spa membership. Let's go sauna, get massages, and all that. And then the best part is there's going to be a 3-day retreat in April. So I encourage you all to sign up and join the Elite Circle. It's going to be amazing, and you're going to be around like-minded women, amazing speakers, and people to just pour into you because you've been pouring into everyone else. Now it's time for someone pour into you and allow yourself to heal, and then put habits in place so you don't fall into burnout again. So I'm excited.
Mhm.
The cohort starts on January 22nd, and I hope you sign up.
Awesome, awesome. That is great. Yes, y'all definitely check her out and what she's got going on. And of course, January 10th here in Arlington, Texas, is the Becoming Her Confidence Redefined Summit. I will be speaking, and yes, woo woo. And my panelists, we're going to do a Q&A session. It's going to be so great. There's going to be lunch that's served, and I'll be doing my thing. And, we're going to laugh a bit too, might cry a bit.
Yeah.
It'll be a wonderful day. It'll be, yes, it's going to be wonderful. And Angel, I'm going to link your links as I post this interview on different social media platforms. I will also be sharing the link to come to Becoming Her as well. And yeah, I just want to thank you so much, Angel, for coming and taking time out of your day to talk. And I'm pumped right now. Um, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of the Ties That Bind DFW. You guys be blessed and thank you. Bye, Angel.
Hi, take care.
Mhm.